Well, welcome viewers. This is episode 5 of Why Did the People of the Book Reject Muhammad? And in episode 5 we're going to look at what did Muhammad say about Jesus. The Christ problem Islam cannot avoid. This is something Islam cannot avoid. Everything eventually comes back to the Lord Jesus Christ. Islam can speak respectfully about Jesus, honour him as a prophet, and even affirm his miraculous birth. But respect is not the same as the truth. And the decisive question, viewers, is, did Muhammad preserve the biblical Jesus or replace him with another version? And this is what we've got to be careful of. Muhammad's teaching about Jesus creates a direct conflict with prior Christian revelation, because Islam denies the central claims of the gospel: Christ's divine identity, crucifixion, resurrection, and saving of the soul authority. Teaching point number 1, viewers. Islam honors Jesus while reducing his identity. Okay, Islam honors Jesus, but they reduce his identity. Islam gives Jesus a respected position, but it removes the central truths Christianity declares about the Lord Jesus Christ. This is not a minor difference. It changes the entire meaning of Jesus' person and mission. And the key differences of this, viewers: Christianity presents Jesus as the divine Son of God. Islam presents Jesus simply as another prophet. Christianity presents Jesus as the Lord of all, God manifest in the flesh, God with us, Emmanuel. Islam replaces Jesus beneath Muhammad's later authority, just as another man. Christianity centers salvation of the soul through the finished work of the Lord Jesus Christ, where Islam repositions Jesus inside Islamic theology only. So respectful language can still produce denial of doctrine. I'm going to say that again. Respectful language can reduce doctrine, or can produce doctrine denial. It produces doctrine denial. Point number 2. The crucifixion becomes the major contradiction. The crucifixion becomes the major contradiction. The crucifixion is not a side issue in Christianity. It is central to the gospel itself. If Jesus was not crucified, then Christian atonement, resurrection, forgiveness, apostolic preaching are directly undermined and attacked. And why this matters: the Gospels testify to the crucifixion of Christ. The apostles preached the crucifixion of the Lord Jesus Christ. And early Christian doctrine depends on the crucifixion of the Lord Jesus Christ. Paul himself said, if Christ wasn't crucified, he's the most foolish among all men. Historical sources support Jesus' execution, and Paul places the cross at the center of human salvation. Yet Islam denies and obscures this event. Remove the cross, and Christianity is no longer Christianity. Teaching point number 3, viewers. A different Jesus means a completely different revelation, a completely different Christianity. If Muhammad's Jesus is not the Jesus of the gospel, of the people of the book, particularly the Christian ones, then Muhammad's message cannot be treated as a continuation of Christianity. It becomes a competing religious claim against Christianity. And the test is this, viewers. Some name does not mean the same name. Some name does not mean the same name. Honor, the honor of Jesus, does not equal the agreement about who he really was. Prophetic respect does not equal theological truth. Denying the cross denies the gospel. Denying divine sonship denies Christian revelation. And replacing Christ's authority creates new systems that are not based on fundamental Christian beliefs and authentic values. And the issue is not whether Islam mentions Jesus. We know they do. The issue is whether Islam preserves the Lord Jesus Christ truthfully. So here's a practical example, viewers. A person says, I believe in Jesus too. The correct response is not immediate agreement. The correct question is, which Jesus? Because the Lord Jesus Christ who saves in Christianity is not the same Jesus redefined inside Islamic theology, just a man, just a prophet. No, different altogether. So let's reflect for a minute. Have you accepted Islamic respect for Jesus as though it were agreement with the gospel? Because if you have, you're completely mistaken. And this is where the people of the book frighten Islamists, because the authority of who Jesus was rests within the Torah and the Gospels, not the misaligned understanding of what the Quranic writings and the Islamists believe about Christ. They've basically been deceived. So let me challenge you. Read one gospel crucifixion account, just one gospel crucifixion account, and compare it with the Islamic denial of the Lord Jesus Christ's crucifixion. And ask one question. Can both versions be true? Can the Christian historical version be true? Or is the Islamic ideal of what happened to Jesus true? Because just remember, the whole Western world, with all its values and peace and safety and fairness, is built on the crucifixion of the Lord Jesus Christ. And to undermine that is to undermine the whole crux of the Western world. Here is a proverb and a principle. To change the Lord Jesus Christ is to change the entire revelation of Christianity. And that's a big thing to try and do, viewers. In closing, the Lord Jesus Christ is the dividing line. If Muhammad's message denies the biblical identity, death, resurrection, and saving authority of Christ, then Muhammad's claim cannot stand as confirmation of prior revelation. It becomes a contradiction of everything, of the very gospel itself. Everything the gospel claims to honor, everything the Western world has been built on. It becomes a contradiction of the very gospel it claims to honor. I'm Dr. J.W. Ayub, theologist, known as Pro Theologist on YouTube and Facebook, Count Straight as well on YouTube, and Pro Bricky on Facebook. Please like, share, subscribe, and most of all comment, so that I can get some feedback from you. Until then, I'll see you in episode 6 of The People of the Book and Why They Rejected Muhammad.